Hi viewers, welcome to our channel DNA. Today we are going to discuss about nucleic acid. This chapter also is from grade 10, unit number 1, chemical basis of life. So when you are discussing about nucleic acid, the first thing that comes to our mind is genetics. So nucleic acid is a component that is involved in genetic sciences, and today we will be just briefing you, not in detail, we'll be briefing you about this particular genetics, as well as what is this nucleic acid and what does it contain and what are the uses of nucleic acid. So nucleic acids are made up of a number of nucleotides. So nucleotides are the structural unit of nucleic acids. So for example, when you say that when you take starch, the structural unit is glucose. So here in nucleic acid, the structural unit is nucleotide. So nucleotides combine, or else they might polymerize and they might form nucleic acid. So a lot of nucleotides, they join together and they form nucleic acids. So nucleic acids has the elemental composition of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and phosphorus. Okay, and let's go on to the structure of a nucleotide. You can see that nucleotides are composed of 3 different components. Number 1, you get a nitrogenous base, then you get a pentose sugar, and thereafter you get a phosphate group. So this is the structure of a nucleotide. In some questions you might get to label these components. You might get to identify what these are. So you should know that a nucleotide is made up of 3 components. 1, a nitrogenous base, number 2, a pentose sugar, and number 3 is the phosphate group. And next, let's discuss about the 2 types of nucleic acids. So nucleic acids can be divided into 2. That means there are 2 types of nucleic acids. Number 1, you get the DNA. Number 2, you get the RNA. So DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA stands for ribonucleic acid. So those are the abbreviations of DNA and RNA. You can note it down. And next is we'll discuss about DNA. So DNA, the structural unit of a DNA is deoxyribonucleotide. So as I told you, the structural unit of nucleic acid is a nucleotide, but the structural unit of DNA is deoxyribonucleotide. And DNA mainly it deals with transferring genetic information from generation to generation. So for example, just think, you might have some characteristics of your ancestors. You might have some characteristics from your parents. So a question arises that how did it transfer from your parents or from your ancestors to you? The answer is it is transferred from genes, that is DNA. So all your genetic information, most of genetic information is transferred from DNA from generation to generation. So the main function of DNA is transferring of information, genetic characteristics from generation to generation. Next is the RNA. Except DNA, the other nucleic acid present is RNA, and the structural unit of RNA is ribonucleotide. So in DNA, the structural unit was deoxyribonucleotide, but the structural unit of RNA is ribonucleotide. So, and the main function of this is protein synthesis. Now when you consider DNA was to store and transfer genetic information. In RNA, the main function is to synthesize protein. Now let's go on to the significance of nucleic acid. That is the importance of nucleic acid. Number 1, importance in storage genetic information of organisms. Yes, it stores genetic information and it transfers from generation to generation. And number 2, important in transferring genetic information from generation to generation. Important in protein synthesis, that is RNA. Important in controlling all cellular activities in a cell. the information to control cellular activities is present in DNA. So what happens is, when you take a cell, you get a nucleus. Within the nucleus, you get this genetic information. And the DNA, what the DNA does is, it acts like a brain of a cell. It controls all the activities of the cell. It takes the entire control of the cell. It rules the cell, right? Okay, so that is controlling all the cellular activities. The next one is RNA is important in storing genetic information of some viruses. And now you know the situation of the COVID-19 coronavirus. Even the coronavirus is a virus that contains RNA as a genetic material. So the variations occur in DNA due to mutations are important in evolution. So mutation is where the genetic information is altered, a situation where genetic information is altered. So that one is helpful for evolution. So if not, what happens is, if the genetic material is transferred without a change, there will not be evolution. So mutation in genes help in evolution. The next is you get some activities and experiments which will be discussed later in my next video. And thereafter they have discussed about water. So actually we do not need to explain in detail, because all of you all know the importance of water. And let's just go through this description. The highest proportion of the body mass of living organism is composed of water, which is an inorganic compound. Here comes inorganic compound interaction, because earlier we discussed about organic and inorganic. What is inorganic compound? Inorganic compounds are compounds that do not combine, that do not contain carbon. So here the formula of water is H2O. And let's see, 2/3 of the body weight of most of the organism is by water. Water is an essential medium for the maintenance of living organisms, living matter. The table below shows the specific properties of water and contributions of them to the maintenance of life. You can see the specific properties of water. It is a good solvent. Yes, when you all go through your science syllabus, you can see that many of the experiments are carried out with the help of water. So it's a very good solvent. So the next one is act as a respiratory medium. So important in respiration for aquatic organisms, as oxygen is soluble in water. Yes, you might have a question that how do aquatic organisms breathe? Because they breathe because the water is a solvent that can be mixed up with oxygen. So oxygen mixes up with water, and that will help the aquatic organisms to survive, to breathe. Helps to regulate body temperature. Due to high specific heat capacity of the body, temperature does not fluctuate quickly with changes in the environment. As a transport medium, being the main constituent of blood, it helps to transport nutrients, vitamins, hormones to relevant location, transport water to the upper parts of the plant due to high cohesive and adhesive forces of the water molecule. Here I'm going to explain you now. Here they have given you as a transport medium. One example is given for animals, one example is given for plants. The first example is the constituent in blood. As you all know, blood contains red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets. Apart from that, you get the plasma. The plasma is the one which contains maximum amount of water. I mean, the larger proportion of blood is water. So that is the reason that blood can flow across our body, because of the property of water. Because it contains water, the blood has the ability to flow throughout our body. So it transports nutrients, vitamins, hormones, and to the relevant locations. The next one is transportation of water through the plant body. So you know the plants absorb water through their roots, and there should be a mechanism for the plants to transport water from their root to the shoot, from the bottom of the plant to the top of the plant. So this is done by the special property of water due to the cohesive and adhesive forces of water, which will be discussed later in detail. And next, as a living environment for organisms. Yes, because now water has, as you all know, that water has a higher density than ice. When ice is formed in water, when ice is formed on water, what happens is you can see that the ice layer is on top of the water, and at the below of the ice layer you get water in a liquid form that will help aquatic organisms to survive during a situation where ice is formed. Next we are going to discuss about minerals. Minerals are important as nutrients constituent to maintain the life processes of organisms. They are absorbed as trace or macro elements into the body. Trace means in minute amounts, macro means in large amounts. So the elements needed to higher amounts are known as macro elements, and the elements needed in smaller amounts are known as trace elements. So elements which are needed in larger amounts are known as macro elements, and the elements which are needed in smaller amounts are known as trace elements. Also you can call them as micro elements. 7% of the body weight is by minerals. 3/4 of the above amount is calcium and phosphorus. Now you can see the large amount is calcium and phosphorus. Among the minerals, the large amount is calcium and phosphorus. Other than that, you get potassium, iron, magnesium, copper and chlorine. So next we'll move on to the elements that are required in smaller amount, but when they are not present in correct amounts, plant and animals show deficiency symptoms. So always remember, a deficiency symptom means, so for example, when you lack of a particular mineral or a vitamin, that one will result in giving you a particular disease, a symptom of a disease. Now we are going to discuss about vitamins, which are also an important substance. So vitamins are organic compounds that can be categorized into two groups. Number one, vitamins which are soluble in water, and vitamins which are insoluble in water. Below in your textbook you get a table which have the types of vitamins and the functions and the deficiency symptoms. So similar to minerals, even minerals do have the types of minerals and their functions and the deficiency symptoms. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to go through this very carefully, because these are really helpful for your MCQ paper, because you can score at least 5 to 6 marks by studying this particular tables, and I mean like what are the types of minerals and vitamins, and what are their functions, and what are their deficiency symptoms. So this will be really helpful, and I will upload a video very soon regarding the tips of how to memorize information and how to prepare your own short note, and I will give you some tips of how to make this particular thing much more easier than you think. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions related to today's topic, please feel free to comment below, and I will try my best to help you all out. And if you feel that this video was helpful to you, please do like it, share it among your friends so that they too could get benefited. If you all are interested in watching more and more videos like this, please do subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon below so that you will be notified as soon as we upload a new video. See you guys, and thank you once again. Have a great day.